Wanted to thank all the real ones to kick off today's show as we have gained a ton of subscribers here since ramping up the content on the Bills breakdown. Can we keep that train rolling and get to 6,000 subs by week one? We are 386 away. Can we get 386 diehard members of the Mafia to go down below and hit that subscribe button for free Bills content? What's going on, Bills Mafia? You're watching the Bills Breakdown by Chat Sports. I am your host, Tyler Smith, and I didn't want to title today's video Bad News for the Buffalo Bills, but I will say it is concerning news here as Thursday the Bills brought in 3 kickers on tryouts for Tyler Bass Insurance. We know he's been dealing with a little bit of pelvic soreness that kept him out for a good portion of camp and the first 2 preseason games, and now Buffalo feels like they need a little bit of insurance, maybe potentially signing one of these guys on the practice squad. Ryan Talbot of Syracuse.com detailed what Bass has been going through and what Buffalo's perspective is. Bass, 28, missed much of training camp this summer due to pelvic soreness. The injury lingered into the preseason with the kicker sitting out the first 2 exhibition games. Buffalo signed Caden Davis to kick in his place during that span, but he was let go ahead of Buffalo's preseason finale against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This seemed to signal that Bass's injury was no longer a concern. In the game against the Bucs, Bass connected on 3 of 4 field goals and made 2 extra points. One of those, the miss was 26 yards. It was pretty ugly. Today's tryouts do not mean that Bass won't be ready to go in Week 1 against the Baltimore Ravens, but Buffalo likely wants to have options if Bass's pelvic soreness lingers into the regular season. As of now, Buffalo's practice squad is full, but the team could simply release one of the players currently rostered for one of the kickers. And what do we know? And I think Tyler Bass knows this pretty well too, unfortunately. A kicker can make or break your season. If your guy's not all 100% healthy out there, like that is a huge disservice to the rest of the football game. Like the special teams is an integral part of the game, and if your kicker's not 100%, then you are not going to be out there playing your best football. That is the fact of the matter. That's an objective fact. Bass knows it. Buffalo Bills fans back in the early 90s know it. And even Brian Dable, Bills' old OC, knows it now. The Giants in Week 2 of last season, they ended up losing to the Washington Commanders, who scored 7 field goals. The Giants scored 3 touchdowns but didn't have a kicker, and they were held to 18 points. Like, that stuff cannot happen. They didn't have a guy in their practice squad, nobody to go do it in an event of an emergency. Now Buffalo seems like they're taking the precaution necessary to do that with Bass clearly still dealing with a little bit of soreness here. So the kickers that they brought in for tryouts here, a couple of veterans out there. Number 1, Eddie Pinheiro, and Pinheiro has a little bit of familiarity with this Bills coaching staff. He worked with special teams coordinator Chris Tabor for 2 years in Carolina a couple of seasons ago, and he's been pretty solid, man. Only 29 years old. Last season he was 22 of 26. Didn't miss any extra points either, so that was good. And in his career, he's an 84% shooter from the hold there on kickoffs. I don't really know how to contextualize that, but 111 and 100 for 126 over a pretty long career to this point. I wouldn't mind Pinheiro coming in on the practice squad. Honestly, wouldn't mind any of these names coming in for Buffalo here. Zane Gonzalez, another name that was brought in on a tryout in 2024 for Washington. He was brought in late in the season, played 6 games, and was 5 of 7 on field goals. But then the playoffs came around, and he was 7 for 8, didn't miss an extra point, and he had a 52-yarder in the postseason as well when Washington made their run to the NFC Championship game. 96 for 120 in his career as well. Age 30, don't think it's a bad option as well. He's been around the league for a bunch of seasons now, but I think been in the league since like 2017. And then Greg Joseph, another veteran as well, the oldest of the 3. And he was really solid last year. He was perfect. 11 of 11 playing for the New York Jets as he was called upon. And he's been, on a plethora of teams. We know he's been with Minnesota, San Francisco, the Giants for a bit, and obviously the Jets last year as well. And he's 116 for 141 on his career. So, we're not bringing in slouches here. I'd say all 3 of these guys probably deserve a kicking job around the league. So I wouldn't mind if any of the 3 were brought in. And look, man, given the age and the experience of these 3 kickers, Buffalo seems pretty serious about actually bringing in some insurance for Tyler Bass here. Yeah, if they brought in a couple of upstart, undrafted free agent kickers, maybe they weren't, you think they wouldn't be that serious. But given that they're bringing in a 29, a 30, and a 31-year-old with a ton of experience and really a postseason experience under their belt as well, Buffalo definitely seems serious about bringing in some insurance here for their kicker. And who knows, his status for Week 1 could be up in the air here as they're bringing in 3 guys to try out. Who would you sign out of the 3 names that Buffalo brought in? If it's Eddie Pinheiro, give me an EP down in the comment section. If it's Zane Gonzalez, type ZG. If it's Greg Joseph, give me a GJ down below. Let me know who you guys would bring in for the practice squad to get some Bass insurance. Next, we're going to talk about some major NFL news that impacts your Buffalo Bills. Yes, it might not impact the Bills conference, but it absolutely sends a message to Bills fans about what the front office says about a certain position group. We'll tell you guys in just a moment, but first, get hooked up with our proud sponsor on the program, and that is Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports platform because it's daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. All you guys got to do is pick a lineup of 2 to 6 players and just pick more or less on their projected stats. They'll have rushing yards, they'll have receiving yards, they'll have receptions, they'll have passing yards. They have it all on Prize Picks, and they also have all these other sports as well. Baseball playoffs are around the corner. Basketball is going to be kicking into gear in the fall as well. And college football, the season's already underway. You can win up to 2,000 times your money watching your Buffalo Bills, and Prize Picks always wants to make it easier for you guys to do so. They're going to give you $50 for free in lineups when you place your first $5 lineup and use our promo code CLNS when you sign up. And if you think I'm talking gibberish, I'll just break it down simply for you. Here is my lineup for week 1 of the football season. James Cook to get in the paint more than half a rushing or receiving touchdown. Josh Allen more than 31.5 yards on the ground. Get in the paint, Josh. And Dak Prescott, they're giving you a freebie here. 0.5 passing yards against the Eagles. Look, I know the Cowboys are in shambles, but Dak's going to throw for at least 1 yard. So bump up your multiplier there. If all 3 of these picks hit, I make 6x my money. You can tail my picks or fade them. Just do it at Prize Picks. Download Prize Picks today. Use the promo code CLNS for $50 instantly in lineups when you place your first $5 lineup. You don't have to win that lineup to receive the $50. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. All that information will be clickable down in the comment section and description of today's video. Whoa. A blockbuster late on Thursday. What a deal that ended up getting done. I can't believe it. I thought this was going to end up being like the same old Jerry Jones. Contract dispute all offseason long, a trade request. They say they're not going to trade him, and then Jerry just ends up paying him the week leading up to week 1 or the day before the game, and this guy gets back out there. But that's not the case this time around. He gave in, and he decided to trade Micah Parsons, a player who has 12 sacks or more over the first 4 seasons of his career. Some people could say a generational pass rusher was just dealt to the Green Bay Packers for 2 first-round picks and a washed-up Kenny Clark. If you look at his grades from last year, they were brutal. Now Micah Parsons is a Green Bay Packer, and I bring this up because, look, the Bills had to have at least been a team of some level of interest in Micah Parsons here, and that was corroborated by the insider on Twitter. Shout out to Pretty Ricky, who originally reported that the Packers had a massive offer out for Micah Parsons in a trade and an extension, which he did sign 4 years, $188 million with $120 million guaranteed. So Mike is making 40 to $45 million the next 3 to 4 seasons. That is unbelievable money, and it's probably not money that the Buffalo Bills could have ended up paying him even if they could have got a trade done. But I'll tell you what, man, I don't care how the money works. I drive those 2 first-round picks to Buffalo Niagara Airport myself if it meant that Micah Parsons could be a Buffalo Bill. That was an absolute steal by the Packers. Do I think that the Cowboys, they didn't get enough back? I mean, they got 2 first-round picks, but they probably could have got a day 2 pick on top of that in addition to what they got. But maybe the financial commitment that the Packers have to make to Micah Parsons does limit the return that Dallas would get back. But at the end of the day, it's a luxury to get to pay Micah Parsons $47 million, not a weight that's weighing you down. Like that is an absolute luxury. You get to pay Micah Parsons. You don't have to pay Micah Parsons. Like, he is an elite talent, and I would have loved him in Buffalo, but at the same time, he doesn't affect the run the best, and that's probably where the Bills' defensive line struggles the most. They have solid pass rushers in their group now. They signed Joey Bosa this offseason, and if he can stay healthy, I'm not going to say he's Micah Parsons, but he can absolutely affect the game, and he's a good run defender from that defensive end spot as well. You got Ed Oliver, obviously makes plays, and Greg Rousseau is a player who I think is going to have a major impact on this Buffalo Bills defense. You could argue after the season he might be the captain. And this, like I said, this is not to say the Micah Parsons not being a Buffalo Bill. It doesn't mean that the pass rush isn't a strength. Like, I think it's one of the better units on the defense here. The pass rushers that they have in town, and they have solid depth there as well, especially when Michael Hoyt comes back from suspension. And I just want to kind of highlight and fire you guys up about Greg Rousseau here. I think we could see a 10-plus sack season here, no doubt about it. Signed that massive extension, not a Micah Parsons level extension, but he signed a big-time deal back in March, 4 years, $80 million, and he's going to be the cornerstone defensive end for your Buffalo Bills for the foreseeable future here. And he gets better every single season, guys. Like, don't get me wrong. This is a playmaker. multiple pass breakups this season, multiple forced fumbles, led the league in forced fumbles at the edge spot last year with 3 and had 8 sacks. And look, man, he had a 5-week stretch where he didn't have a sack at all. So, like, this is a guy who I believe if all things go well this year and he takes the next step that he needs to take in his NFL career, he's going to be seeing 10, 11, 12, maybe 13 plus sacks this upcoming year because he can win on the line of scrimmage. Like, PFF ranked him 16th among all edges last year in pass rush wins. He was graded out as the 12th or 13th best pass rusher in the NFL per PFF, and he's a decent enough run defender as well. It wasn't graded out super highly, but like he's around above average in that department as well. Like he's only getting better, and he's really just scratched the surface of what he can be as a pass rusher. This is a really fast and really strong player, and he's relied upon those qualities in his game for basically his entire career up to this point, and he's only going to get better with more nuance and more items added to his bag. And I think he knows that he has to improve upon those areas because, like I said, from weeks 2 through week 6 back in 2024, he did not register a sack. And honestly, even worse than that, what was the reason that Buffalo couldn't get over the hump this past year? They didn't get any pressure on Mahomes. That's why the Eagles won the Super Bowl. And in the AFC Championship game, Rousseau did not register one QB hit on Patrick Mahomes. That type of thing, it probably sits with Greg Rousseau this offseason, and I think he'll be better for it. But that type of stuff absolutely needs to change if he wants to live up to that contract. And here's what he had to say about getting the money. For me, getting paid the money, if anything, it makes me want to prove myself even more. It makes me want to go even harder. I can't let the guys down. I can't let my peers, my coaches, the front office, I can't let them down. Fire me up, Greg. They trusted me with the contract extension, so I know I have to put my best foot forward even more than before. Being a first-round pick is one thing, but getting a contract like this comes with a lot. Look, I believe it. I believe every word that Greg Rousseau says there because what I've read about him is that he is a stand-up guy, super well respected by teammates. He's gotten it from the gutter, and he is an absolute film junkie as well. Like, this guy wants to get better every single day, and that's the type of guy that I want captaining my defensive line, no doubt about it. Sean McDermott knows the same thing. He said, really, it's just taking the next step for Greg in his game and taking it to an increasingly another level. If you watch the tape, Greg has been around the ball quite a bit. He's been around quarterbacks, affected quarterbacks. Some of those led to sack numbers, some didn't. It's kind of the nature of the way the position's played. I think Greg knows the physicality of his game has got to take a little bit of an uptick, if you will, and that comes also with taking that next step. Look, we know that Greg Rousseau can get off the line of scrimmage out of his stance fast, and he can get to the quarterback fast, but can he finish those plays? Can he get the sacks? I don't want pressures. He ranked very, very highly in pressures among edges last year. Get the quarterback on the ground. And to do that, Rousseau cannot rely solely on the athleticism that has been carrying him in his career to this point. He needs a bigger bag. He needs more nuanced pass rush moves in order to take that next leap, to be the top 10 pass rusher that you got paid to be. You got to live up to the money, man. Like Greg Rousseau has the 7th most guaranteed money at the position at this point. So you can't be getting ranked as the 13th best. You can't be getting ranked as the 12th best pass rusher in the NFL. No, you got to go out there and get ranked as the 7th best, the 6th best, the 5th best pass rusher in the NFL. And I believe that the person that Greg Rousseau is and whatever all the teammates and the coaching staff says about him, yeah, he's going to go out and make that stuff happen this upcoming season. And what do you guys think? Do you guys believe what Greg Rousseau is saying? Do you believe the talk? Do you believe the hype? Let me know. What's your confidence level in Greg Rousseau? Scale for me down in the comment section, 1 through 100. I want to know what Bills Mafia thinks about number 50. That'll do it for today's edition of the Bills Breakdown. Hit me up on Twitter. We can talk about it some more as we'll be breaking down everything Buffalo Bills related before week 1. And that's why you subscribe to the channel as well. We're trying to get to 6,000 subs here at the Bills Breakdown. You guys can help us out. Hit that subscribe button. Turn your notifications on as well. We'll see you guys in the next one. As always, let's go Buffalo.